He never expected anyone to knock at his door after midnight. But when he opened it and saw his boss standing in the cold, staring straight into his eyes, he felt something shift inside him. Her voice was firm when she whispered, "Say that again, but look at me." And in that moment, he knew his quiet life was about to change forever. Ethan Hayes had learned to live quietly. As a single father, silence felt safer than the chaos he had survived. It had been 2 years since his wife walked away, leaving him with a 4-year-old daughter who asked too many questions and deserved too many answers he didn't have. Most nights, Ethan returned home from the hotel kitchen exhausted, smelling faintly of coffee and burnt toast. But his daughter, Lily, always greeted him with the same smile, small but bright enough to soften all the cracks in his heart. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't charming. He wasn't the man who turned heads in a room. He was just a father trying to hold his world together. His boss, however, Charlotte Reed, was the complete opposite. She was a CEO, young, brilliant, known for turning failing businesses into success stories. People feared her confidence. They respected her silence. They whispered about her wealth, her power, her sharp mind. Ethan only knew one thing about her. She spoke rarely, but when she did, every word mattered. The night everything changed began like any other. Rain pressed against the windows. Lily slept on the couch with her crayons scattered across the floor. Ethan reheated leftover pasta, too tired to notice it was burning. Then 3 sharp knocks. He frowned. At this hour? He opened the door. Charlotte Reed stood under the flickering hallway light, her hair damp, her eyes tired, different from the poised woman everyone saw at work. "Ms. Reed, is everything okay?" Ethan asked, confused. She didn't answer at first. She simply looked past him, her gaze stopping when she saw a small hand-painted sign taped to the wall. "Welcome home, Daddy." Her expression softened for the briefest moment, then vanished. "Ethan, I need to speak with you," she said. He stepped aside. "Of course. Come in." Charlotte hesitated before walking into his small apartment. The warmth surprised her. Family drawings on the fridge, toys stuffed in baskets, Lily's pink blanket on the couch. "This is nice," she said quietly. "It's small," he replied, "but it's ours." Before she could answer, a sleepy voice whispered from behind the couch. "Daddy, is someone here?" Charlotte turned and saw Lily rubbing her eyes. Ethan quickly moved toward her. "It's okay, sweetheart. Go back to sleep." But Lily was staring at Charlotte, curious, innocent, brave in the way only children can be. "You look like the princess from my book," she mumbled. Charlotte blinked, caught off guard. No one had ever called her a princess. Most people called her intimidating, brilliant. "Impossible." "Thank you," she said softly. Ethan picked up Lily, carried her to her room, and returned a moment later. "Sorry about that," he said. Charlotte shook her head. "No, don't apologize. She's sweet." Silence settled between them, gentle but heavy. Finally, Charlotte spoke. "Ethan, something happened tonight at the hotel." His stomach tightened. "Did I do something wrong?" "No. You did everything right." Then she took a breath. "But someone didn't." Ethan waited, unsure what this was leading to. Charlotte continued, "Tonight, after you left, I overheard one of the senior managers speaking about you. He said things that weren't true. Things that could affect your job, your future." Ethan's heart dropped. "What kind of things?" She stepped closer, her voice lower now. "He said that you're irresponsible, that you leave early, that you bring your daughter to work, that you're distracted, that you don't care about your job." Ethan felt his jaw tighten. "None of that is true. I've never." "I know," she cut in gently. "That's why I'm here." He stared at her, confused. "Why come personally? You could have spoken to me tomorrow." Charlotte swallowed. Something flickered in her eyes. "I didn't want you to go to sleep thinking your job was at risk." Then she added quietly, "And I didn't want to go home yet." That last sentence hung in the air, strange, fragile, heavy with meaning. Ethan frowned. "Are you okay?" She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped closer until he could see the exhaustion on her face. "Ethan, tell me honestly," she whispered. When he said those lies, why did you stay silent all these weeks? He looked away. Because single fathers don't get second chances. Charlotte's breath caught. Say that again, she whispered. Then slowly, but look at me. Ethan lifted his eyes. For the first time, their worlds collided. Ethan didn't know how long he stood there, meeting Charlotte's gaze. There was something unspoken in her eyes, something he had never seen from her at work. Not authority, not control, but loneliness. Before he could respond, Charlotte looked away, breaking the moment. Ethan, she said quietly, I didn't come here only to warn you. I came because I need to tell you the truth about what's happening at the hotel. He tensed. What truth? She took a breath, as if choosing her words carefully. There's a board member, Mr. Langston. He wants one of his nephews to take your job. He's been pushing lies, exaggerations, anything he can use. And if I don't stop him now, he'll make sure you're let go next month. The words hit Ethan like a punch. Fired? He thought about Lily's school fees, the rent, the bills, her little hands clinging to his coat every morning. I can't lose this job, he whispered. I know. Her voice softened. That's why I'm here. I won't let him do that to you. He stared at her, stunned. Why would a CEO care this much? As if sensing his confusion, she continued. You're not just another employee, Ethan. I've watched you. You show up early. You stay late. You take double shifts without complaining. And you're raising a child alone. That's not weakness. That's strength. Ethan swallowed hard. Most people don't see it that way. I do, she said. A quiet knock broke the moment. 3 little taps from the hallway wall. Ethan froze before smiling faintly. Lily. She does that when she's scared to interrupt. Charlotte's face softened. Let her in. He opened the door. Lily peeked around the corner holding her stuffed rabbit. Daddy, the thunder is too loud. Charlotte knelt beside her. Do you want someone to sit with you until you sleep? Lily nodded. Ethan hesitated. You don't have to. I want to, Charlotte said. They moved to Lily's room, small but warm. Charlotte tucked the blanket around her, gently smoothing her hair. Lily whispered, Are you really a princess? Charlotte smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I used to think so. Not anymore. Why? Lily asked. Charlotte opened her mouth, but closed it again. Ethan watched her carefully. Something inside this woman was breaking, but silently. When Lily finally drifted asleep, Charlotte stepped back into the living room. I should go, she murmured. It's late. But as she reached the door, a sudden flash of lightning illuminated her face, and Ethan saw the truth. Her eyes were swollen, her expression tired in a way that had nothing to do with work. Ms. Reed, he said gently, are you sure you're okay? You don't look okay. She closed her eyes for a long second. When she opened them, the wall she always carried was gone. Ethan, can I trust you with something? She whispered. Yes, he said. She exhaled shakily. My father collapsed tonight, she said quietly. He's in the hospital. I was supposed to fly to him at dawn, but the board refused to let me leave. They said if I missed tomorrow's meeting, they'd vote me out. Ethan's heart dropped. That's terrible. She nodded. And when you walked out of work tonight holding your daughter, I realized something. You go home to someone who loves you, someone who runs into your arms every day. Her voice cracked. And I go home to silence, to empty rooms, to a life full of glass walls. Ethan had never seen her this vulnerable. This powerful woman was alone. She rubbed her temples and whispered, I didn't know where else to go. I drove without thinking, and somehow, I ended up in front of your door. Ethan stepped closer. You don't have to apologize for that. But Charlotte wasn't looking at him. She was staring at her own shaking hands. When I knocked, she whispered, a part of me hoped someone would finally ask me if I was okay. Ethan felt something shift in his chest, an ache he hadn't expected. I'm asking now, he said quietly. She looked up, and this time her eyes glistened. I'm not okay, Ethan, she whispered. I'm trying to save your job while I'm losing everything in mine. Silence filled the room, heavy, raw, honest. She stepped back, suddenly embarrassed.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have said all that. You have enough problems of your own. Ethan shook his head. You came here for a reason, he said softly. And you're staying until you can breathe again. Charlotte froze, surprised, unsure, shaken. For the first time in years, someone wasn't asking her for anything. Someone was offering her something. Safety, warmth, a place to fall apart. She whispered, "Why are you being so kind to me?" Ethan answered simply, "Because tonight, you needed someone too." Charlotte's breath trembled, and in that moment, she finally sat down, letting the walls fall completely. The storm outside slowly faded, but inside the small apartment, something else was changing. Charlotte sat on the edge of Ethan's couch, quietly holding a cup of warm tea he had made for her. Her shoulders had dropped. Her breathing had steadied. For the first time that night, she didn't look like a CEO. She just looked human. Ethan sat across from her, giving her space. No pressure. No expectations. Just presence. After a long silence, Charlotte finally spoke. "Do you know the hardest part of my job?" she said softly. "It's not the meetings. It's not the board. It's pretending that money makes loneliness easier." Ethan listened, calm and steady. "My father used to tell me," she continued, "that leadership is a blessing, but no one tells you it can also be a prison." He met her eyes. "You don't have to carry all of this alone." Her lips curved into a small, tired smile. "That's what scares me. I've forgotten how not to." A moment passed. Then she looked around his small, warm living room. "You live with so much less," she said gently, "but you have more peace than I've had in years." He shrugged a little. "Peace doesn't come from what you have. It comes from who's waiting for you at the end of the day." Charlotte swallowed hard at those words. She looked toward Lily's bedroom door. "Your daughter, she's precious. She's my whole world," Ethan said. "And everything I do, it's for her." Charlotte lowered her gaze, ashamed. "I'm ashamed to say this, but I envy her." Ethan blinked. "Envy her?" "Yes." She paused. "Because she gets a father who shows up. A father who cares. My father was powerful, brilliant, but never present. And now that he's in the hospital," her voice shook, "I'm terrified he'll leave before I ever hear him say he's proud of me." Ethan leaned forward. "You should go to him." A sad sigh escaped her. "I can't. Not until tomorrow's board meeting. One wrong move and everything I've built will collapse." Ethan shook his head. "Charlotte, I've watched you for months. You run an empire, but you don't live your life. Sometimes doing the right thing means risking what's not worth keeping." Her eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "It means your position shouldn't cost you your father," he said gently. "Or your peace." She blinked, and he saw her walls crumble again. "You think I should go?" she whispered. "Yes," Ethan said. "Tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight." Charlotte stood still. The idea was frightening, but the truth in his words hit her deeply. Before she could respond, Lily's small voice floated from her bedroom. "Daddy?" They both turned. Lily stood there rubbing her eyes, holding her rabbit. Charlotte knelt. "Bad dream?" Lily nodded. "I dreamed Daddy disappeared." Charlotte froze. Something tugged inside her. That's what she had felt her whole life, like someone she needed was always disappearing. She hugged Lily gently. "Your daddy isn't going anywhere. I promise." Lily blinked up at her. "Are you staying too?" Charlotte hesitated. She looked at Ethan. He nodded softly. "Only until you feel safe," she told the little girl. Lily smiled sleepily and walked back to her room. Charlotte stayed kneeling on the floor long after Lily left. Not because she had to, but because something inside her was breaking, in the most healing way. When she finally stood, she turned to Ethan. "Thank you," she whispered, "for tonight, for listening, for not treating me like a title." He stepped closer. "Charlotte," she looked up. "That thing you said at the door," he continued, "when you told me to say it again while looking at you." Her cheeks flushed faintly. "I didn't mean to say it like that." "But you did," he replied gently. "And I didn't answer." She held her breath. Ethan took a slow step toward her. "You asked why I wasn't sleeping," he said softly. "The truth is, I wasn't tired. I was worried." "About what?" she whispered. "About losing my job. About failing Lily. About being alone forever." Her eyes softened. "You're not alone, Ethan." He searched her face. "I wasn't sure until tonight." Charlotte's breath caught. Ethan moved closer. Not too close, just enough to show honesty, not pressure. "You came here looking for someone to ask if you were okay," he said. "I came to the door praying someone would knock before my life fell apart completely." Their eyes locked. Maybe it wasn't romance. Maybe it wasn't fate. Maybe it was just two broken people, finally finding a place where they could breathe. She looked down, her voice barely a whisper. "Can I tell you something before I go?" "Of course. When I leave tomorrow, I don't know what the board will do, but tonight made me realize something important." She looked up again. "I don't want to live a life where no one truly knows me. Not anymore." Ethan nodded. "That's a good place to start." She took a deep breath. "Ethan, can I come back? After everything settles?" He didn't hesitate. "Yes, whenever you need." Her eyes shimmered with a tear she didn't let fall. As she walked to the door, Ethan opened it for her. The rain had stopped. The night was finally calm. She turned once more. "Thank you for being the one person who didn't look away when I fell apart." "And thank you," he said, "for knocking when you did." She nodded gently, then stepped into the hallway. Ethan watched her leave, not with fear, but with a new kind of hope. Sometimes the people who walk into your life at midnight are the ones who help you see the sunrise. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more heartfelt journeys. And may this remind you that kindness, even on the hardest nights, can change a life forever.